Hi, hello, I'm Cosette Corcatelli, and this is my second journal for this human sexuality class. And I just wanted to say I've thoroughly enjoyed this class. I have learned a lot about human sexuality, as well as hoping I help some of my classmates through our discussion on sexuality. I still believe that human or healthy sexuality is an act given to us by God. To use an expression of true love, devotion, and passion between a married man and woman. They use their sexual encounters to become closer to one another and to become one, as one like God has instructed. It is a sacred and special bond given by God and to create a unity in both the man and the woman in marriage. Kay Arthur states that our sexuality is an unbelievable gift from God, a gift to be enjoyed to the fullest measure within the confines of marriage. There are some lies that were stated about marriages, that the sexuality becomes humdrum. And through this course, I demonstrated how that is definitely a lie. Just because I believe that healthy sexuality occurs between a married man and wife does not mean that it is boring, same old, or becomes humdrum. It is still very much full of passion and eroticism and grows with more unity and true love every day. I think that it becomes healthier as you add communication and support and devotion of one another over time, because it becomes more honest to the relationship and actually settles into a passion of the relationship as it becomes more real and trustworthy over time. The reason that I say that it is more trustworthy is because you develop a sense of confidence and trust with each other, to where you develop a sense of open sexual relationship with your spouse for many years, and then that sexual relationship begins to unfold, much like finishing one another's sentences, because you know each other so well. Therefore, it becomes an amazing, effortless achievement of passion and satisfaction each time the couple is together. I know that that has made a big difference in my husband and I's relationship. And to me, that's when you reach an ultimate healthy sexuality in that relationship. Healthy sexuality based on Christian values is best described by Winner, which says the only real sex is the sex that happens in a marriage. The sex that happens outside of a marriage is not really sex at all. It is only a distorted imitation of sex, because those feelings and relationship hasn't really begun or has not really developed, and so therefore it is just a mere get-together, and therefore is just an imitation. I think that what she means by this is really no love or honor or devotion has developed yet behind this, outside of a couple who have not been married. Instead, they're just getting together for sex. All it is a sex encounter. There are no emotions or strings attached, other than just for a quick pleasure or attraction. There's those feelings that are attached, but generally it is those feelings of quick attraction or eroticism or a fast passion, physical attraction, those types of things that have brought that couple together, and they're exploring those feelings rather than actually building the relationship before it becomes straight sexual. Unfortunately, that seems to be the transformation that sexuality is taking with Americans today. It's a whole lot easier to just fulfill a satisfaction rather than to build or work on a relationship. According to Carol, images of sexuality are all around us. Today's teens rate the media as one of their leading sources of sex information. I think that this is so disturbing, that there are so many misconceptions of what healthy sexuality is. There are so many misleading relationships in the media, TV shows, those types of things. anymore homosexuality is displayed every second on the television, and I think even in teen-related television shows, these are exploited. And so I think that it really leads a huge, confusing, misleading interpretation of what normal sexual or healthy sexuality should be, especially when it comes to adolescence. I think that the media and how it depicts all the different types of sexual relationships are what is leading the teens and adolescent confusion in so many adolescent sexual problems, such as adolescent homosexuality. Before they even really understand what sexuality even is, they are making a choice of sexual orientation. As we discovered in the book, sexual orientation has been a huge arising factor in America today. And adolescents have this misconception of what sexual orientation is. They're choosing a sexual orientation before they even truly understand what healthy sexuality is. And when they're learning all of this from media and television shows, it's hard for them to really understand what the healthy sexuality is and where they should be going with their sexual orientation. The reason I say that it is a confusion is because I believe that we have been created by God and in God's image, every one of us. And so, and because of that, I don't believe that God would have created any sin. He knows each one of us. He has created us in His likeness. And in the Bible it says, "For you created my inmost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full well. My frame was not hidden from you when I was made in the secret place, when I was woven together in the depths of earth." And this is found in Psalms 139, verses 13 through 16. This is why I think that sexual research and education is needed to be continued. I have loved this class and the different discussions that we've brought about in human sexuality. I think more things like this need to be out there. I think that it needs to be introduced in younger ages. I think that we need to go as young as possibly 5th and 6th grade so that they understand what their bodies are feeling, where they are, why they may be having feelings for girls or for boys, or what the attractions are, why our body is changing, what all the different confusions that can happen. Just because a little girl starts liking a little girl does not mean that there are homosexuality feelings there. It is a natural occurrence, and we need to be able to explain that and understand that, instead of just saying, oh, well, because we have these feelings, this must be where we're leaning. Or the same way for a boy. If he finds a boy good looking or attractive, does that mean he's homosexual? No. He's comparing. It's absolutely biologically normal for them to look at each other and compare each other and explore those feelings. And I think that because of all the media and the misrepresentation, the misleading, they start falling into the fact that, oh, I must be this, and so they start leaning toward a sexual orientation before they really understand what sex is all about. So I think that education and research needs to continue. I think we need to broaden it. I think we need to continue determining how we can approach it to younger grades and make it fully capable in our educational systems. Pamphlets out there where we can give parents more information, especially for those who have children that are questioning their sexual orientation. I think that is really needed. So as far as the research and education, the pros and the cons, I think that sometimes we find out more than what we expected. I know in this class I've learned a lot on transgender that I wasn't really fully aware of, but I needed to be educated on. And so I think that bringing more things out there is important. We may not want our kids subjected to information and finding out things before we are ready for them to know, but I think that education needs to be put out there, and I think that we need to find a way that it's going to put it out in a very basic form, but yet informational, and a way that parents can lead conversations and address their children that are comfortably, because I think it's hard to speak about sexual problems or human sexuality. That's a touchy subject anyway. It's hard for anybody to just start a conversation about that. But I think if we could put it in very watered down ways to start a conversation, or even give pamphlets on how we could start conversations, then that would make things a whole lot easier. And I think that it's important that we address those and allow families to have that. Where I'm going into a field to work with families and children, I love the fact that I am learning more on how to address that, how to be able to search my feelings and understand, like I said before, on a transgender, being able to accept those facts and acknowledge them and learn more about how the biology is set for these children, and where they're biologically and chemically and hormonally and those types of things, where they're coming from, so that I understand that in order to try and help those children or those families go through those times, those hard times, which is difficult for me. And if it's difficult for me when I'm trying to counsel them, then obviously it's going to be difficult to do that. And so I think that we need to continue with the education in education and research in order for us to be better prepared to handle those types of situations. And I welcome that. Like I said, I think that that's something that we desperately need. I think that because there are so many types of unhealthy sexual relations going on, and the misleading facts and truths and consequences that occur when choosing the types of relationships that are out there, the research and education needs to be put in place in order to help clarify what healthy sexuality is, as I had stated before. I think that it's important to learn more about our bodies and what is taking place. If there are feelings outside of the normal taking place, how do we address those? Through this course, I have really questioned my beliefs on sexual orientation and adolescent sexual behaviors and what I know to be healthy and right. I've prayed a lot about this, and I've read the scriptures, because I want to be able to help children that are confused, that need a direction, families that have children that need a direction. But I want to be able to do it in a way that is going to be positive and correct, and as well as following what my Heavenly Father would want me to do and to teach, because I know that our Heavenly Father has created us equally and has created us without sin. Then how do we then approach what they're feeling and how they feel inside, and where that confusion is coming from, in order for us to work through that? So I know that I've really questioned that coming into this class, which are important questions that I think I need to ask and work out in order to be a good counselor in the future. I know that the only way that I will be able to resolve these answers and get the questions that the answers that I have to my questions are praying and having the guidance, research, getting that education, and continuing to go through my work with my Father in heaven, as well as teachers, and educating myself as much as possible. I have really felt that this class has given me a better understanding of what is taking place in a human sexuality. I've learned there are a lot of bad and confusing things out there, but there's also a lot of research and good information that we are gaining through different types of questionnaires, sexual research, basing all these different types of things so that we can learn more about how to address this topic. And I think that that's really important, and I hope that we continue developing different ways to address the topic, get the education out there, give this to, be able to address it, especially, like I said, in the adolescent, the youth generation, on what is proper dating, how we can help them get through these very confusing and struggling times when it comes to their bodies and the healthy sexuality that should be taking place. Again, I've really enjoyed taking this course, enjoyed learning more about this and about the human sexuality, and would continue. I would take another course like this. This has been an excellent course. Thank you.